Yeah?
We're
officially ready to go.
we started once already.
Yes, we did.
Missed out. We had a really good intro.
You didn't introduce yourself.
I think already knows who I am.
This is Corey,
it's
yes,
okay.
just
Yeah.
Corey.
It's just Corey. We go to this new exciting lightning round that I didn't even read these
exciting.
questions yet, so I'm kind of excited about that.
So glad you came prepared.
You got to be. It's one of those things where I think if I over prepare, then I mess up more. Like
Okay.
I just, you got to kind of wing
To
it
each
a
his
little
own.
bit, right? No, you're more analytical, and you're always the prepared one that has all the things. You know that's not me. So here we go. We're gonna turn a little bit more towards the camera. Hannah's touching the watch, which is making me nervous. What is the watch part for?
Lightning round means you got 5 minutes
5 minutes
For
total.
all the questions. Okay.
for all the questions. So quick answers.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go
is-
fast. All right, we're gonna look at the camera now.
And you're asking me questions.
I am. If you want to flip the script at any point, you're welcome
I
to.
might have to, yeah.
All right, are you ready?
No, let's wait till we can get.
Oh, we're not ready. Hannah's counting.
I just wanted it to be kind of easy. We're at 43 seconds. So
Well, if you could just remember the 40.
whatever. Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Favorite countertop material?
Quartzite, natural stone. I think it's the new hot thing.
That's what we're leaning on right now and what he has at his personal house, just if anyone was wondering.
No bias.
Hardwood or LVP?
I think there's a place in the industry for both. I would prefer engineered because it's real wood.
Engineered, not solid.
Solid is not going to perform in Colorado's market or in Colorado's climate.
True. Pattern tile or timeless subway? All right,
Pattern tile all the way. We're seeing a trend towards large format tile. It's low maintenance, less grout joints, and obviously plenty of pattern choices.
I'm curious what you consider finish right on this one, but one finish you'll never get tired of.
Yeah, so I would say for finish, coming from a family that painted houses, I thought paint color,
Okay.
satin. I would say
Satin.
satin is the way to
Okay.
go, Matt. If you have any pets or kids, you need to go satin. It's got a nice gloss and it's going to be a lot easier to clean.
Yeah, I hear that. Most underrated room in the house?
Yes, the area where you're just going to spend your time with your children. So probably a rec room or a basement living room.
A design trend you'd bring back?
Yes, this is a good one. It's less of a lightning rain one,
Gotta be
lightning
fast.
round.
We-
I would say it's longevity. I think the focus right now has been so much on disposability, obsolescence in all industries. We're seeing trends on social media, we're seeing fast fashion. I think if the industry could bring back the idea of longevity, how will this product perform in 10 years or in 20 years? The focus on finishes that are for life. If you're paying or you're picking a bespoke product, you want it to last. And I think the term is what, heirloom is the term now in the industry. That's the trend I want to bring back.
I always think of tomatoes when I hear that. Coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee.
Coffee. Final question that's not on here, just to fill in the 5 minutes because we crushed the lightning round, right?
Crushed it, yeah.
Did we do well?
Really good.
Shoes allowed in the house or not?
You know, we just rewatched with the family the show Shogun on FX. It's about 16th century Japan. And Natalia pointed out the fact that even back then, the focus on cleanliness in a home was extremely important. I grew up and was born in the former Soviet Union, and it was sacrilege to wear shoes in a house. No shoes in the house. I'll give you slippers.
Is it okay to have a dirty car?
No, there's a whole history of that, but
Yeah.
no.
I'm picking on you a little bit now because I know some of those guys.
I have changed, Corey.
Yeah. If you don't mind, can you just introduce who you are, how you got into the industry, and then maybe a little bit about what you do for Saddleback, and then we can kind of talk about
Yeah.
who Saddleback
Yeah.
is.
I'm Mikhail Orkov. I started the industry 20 years ago. Got dragged into it like all of us.
When you're 7.
Unwillingly, yeah.
Yeah.
Saddleback Design is a flooring company in Denver. We've been in Colorado for over 35 years. Started by Lolly Hopman. It's a family-owned business. It has been the whole time. We do flooring finishes, countertops, window coverings, wall tile. It's a one-stop shop, similar to kind of what you do here. But what we're selling is not just finishes. It's really similar to you. It's the design expertise, and it's really choice. I mean, choice is a product, and it's not just choice as far as throwing everything together in one building. It's curating that offering, not just price point, not just aesthetics or looks. It's also supply chain and knowing that buyer demographic and being able to put that together for them. I think all of us have been in a house that was remodeled or designed, and you can walk in and you can tell when it was put together by somebody who knows what they're doing and somebody who doesn't. That's what we do at Saddleback.
I feel like you have several different roles there through
Yeah.
the years, but what is your main responsibilities there now?
So as Director of Purchasing, my focus is vendor relations, systems estimating, and I would say quality control. We created a whole team around COVID to filter files to ensure that when that product goes out in the field, we have less shortages and we have the labor rates, everything streamlined for our production team. Quality controls team, and we call it V&V, verification validation. Their role is to be the brakes. Everybody uses gas, right? Everything from design to ordering to production is, they got to get installed because there's a schedule. That team stops, vets the file, make sure everything is accurate before it goes out.
What does an ideal customer look like to you? And then once you have that customer, what does the process look like from start to finish?
Yeah, I'd like to define ideal customer. If you're selling choice, and I've been thinking about this for a while as a company, there's a trend, obviously we've seen a trend towards packages in the industry. The idea is that the customer is easily overwhelmed and we need to curate packages for a buyer because they will not be able to distinguish between too many options. I think there's a place for that in the industry because if you're selling an introductory price point home, you're not necessarily selling choice to that buyer. The analogy I think of is Legos. So Lego comes out with a classic starter pack.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Roy J. Biv of colors, they're bricks. If I'm building with my kid and Austin says build me a lion, I can with those bricks create a lion. But he'll be more of a Minecraft lion where he's got a little bit more of a hard 90-degree shoulders and the face might not be easily recognizable. But I'll create a lion for that, for my child. What Saddleback does is we say, instead of a starter pack, we're going to have every Lego out there. So now I can build that lion for that person with whiskers, with spots, with blue eyes or brown eyes, and really give the customer what they want. Mm. And I think if Lego tomorrow came out and said, you know what, we're going to eliminate all of those different boxes, we're just going to go back to the classic starter pack, I think we'd all understand they're not doing that because that's what the customer wants. The customer wants to be able to curate and have a home that's unique to them. Average homeowner, I think, stays in their home now 12 years. I think that's doubled since the 2000s. And as we see prices continue to go up, the home is going to be the biggest investment for a consumer. They're going to want to customize that home, and that's where they're going to spend most of their time.
I think you had kind of taken it to create what an ideal customer looks like, which, yes, if I was to make that into a nutshell, what I'm hearing is that your ideal customer is somebody that understands what you're offering, meaning that you guys can really offer them anything that they want, mm-hmm, and work them through the process so that when someone walks into their house, they can really tell that it was designed professionally and well put together and well thought through. It's easy to overlook this. What I'm trying to get out of you is like when someone walks in and there's their first time meeting, mm-hmm, with Saddleback, what does that process look like? They're gonna sit down with a designer, I assume, and then how does the selections, how does all that go?
The interaction always starts prior to them coming into our showroom. There's a phone call that occurs with the designer, and the encouragement from the designer that's going to be working with that specific buyer is for them to start thinking about their finishes, whether that's Instagram, lookbooks, whether that's magazines, having them come up with an idea of what they want before they ever walk through the doors. And that may be them getting on the same page with whoever else is living with them, whether it's their significant other or their children or their in-laws or whoever is in that home that they're going to be creating. There needs to be a little bit of a consensus of what they want to achieve together so that when they come in, we're not a third party in that interaction. But by the time they come in, they've had an appointment, there's a designated workspace. Even though the showroom has a lot of product, like obviously your space, that's curated by the designer and they will bring things to the table so it's less overwhelming for that buyer. Depending on where they are steering their budget, the designer will bring that to the table even though they obviously can walk around and browse. So it's a little bit more of an intimate experience. And again, the idea is we want them to walk away thinking or having the finishes they truly want to live with for the average 12 years in their home. Yeah. Obviously, the big talk right now in the industry is AI and how automation is going to either disrupt the industry or improve or increase productivity. And everybody's goal right now is to see how they can use it to, I guess, increase profits, but probably also have a value add for that customer. So, my question to you, where do you see that automation actually helping your showroom? Where are you implementing it? Where do you see that affecting our industry?
Is that an official question? Are you ready?
Question mark.
I think that automation is the big part. Like AI can do a lot of different things. Everyone can use it every day to ask them to rewrite an email or make a smarter, pitch to a customer, or to take a look at a contract and see if they're missing anything. Like that's the simple things I think almost everyone's using. I think where the next step up from that is taking a look at all your operational things and figuring out where AI can help you there. DSKB specifically has a big hurdle where we have a quoting system. And then once the quote is approved, it has to get moved over to a purchasing system.
There's a transfer.
And there's a transfer of information there. AI can easily manage that. I think that the hurdle is that we're a small enough company that there's an expense to that to get that all figured out. I think big companies are already quickly using AI, and it's giving them another step forward. The smaller companies like DSKB are going to really struggle to kind of keep up. As it becomes more and more mainstream and younger buyers start moving into buying homes and moving into the market that we have now, that they're going to really start using AI to make sure that they're getting a fair price. And I think that is where we're going to see the biggest disruption. Through the process of buying, there's a lot of people that are taking a little bit of profit. You and I are some of those people. That's how we all stay in business. AI is going to be able to take a look at that and really find out if people are being fair. And so companies that are being fair and being a true partner are going to really, really rise to the top really quickly, because it's going to remove all those people that are taking unfair profits.
I'm glad you bring that up. I agree with you that it will empower the homeowner or that buyer to really know what they're buying, because they can easily go on their phone and ask the question. And it was easier 20 years ago to try to sell a faucet from a big box store and give the perception that it was going to perform in a similar fashion to something that they might purchase here. Even though we both know that the interior components and the craftsmanship and the longevity of that product is widely varies.
Yes.
I think AI empowers a buyer to understand that very quickly and then be able to make that the right decision.
I do think it's going to force a lot of us to change our business models. My main customer at DSKB are designers. Designers have traditionally marked up product. They have a relationship here. I only sell to businesses, and so that's their, I would never sell to their homeowner. But the homeowner can get on the internet or use AI to find those brands and see what a fair price is. And so they know that the designer's marking it up. So in a lot of cases, designers are being forced right now, and as we speak, to change their business model to be more upfront about collecting an upfront fee and billing hourly instead of marking up material, because it's just no longer available. People can find the best price somewhere through AI.
B2B, I agree that process is going to be a little bit different. The other question I had, and this obviously is a trend you are all seeing, we're seeing, is the wellness culture. Are you seeing customers or designers who come in here and they're looking for a healthier home, or they're looking for specs that are focused more on lead-free, low VOC? Is that a trend you're seeing in the industry?
I just went to an international design show in Italy, and almost the entire thing was based around health and wellness. Health and wellness in my category means more about like providing hydrotherapy and lights and steam and sauna and all of those kind of things.
Experience in the house.
Much more of an experience having the spa at home. However, we've got some designers that their entire business model is all based around providing clean living environment, meaning that the fabrics that you choose, low VOCs, and making sure that there's no gas off-putting on anything that you have. Everything is lead-free, everything, and having partnerships with those brands all around. And I think that that's just going to continue to grow. I don't have the perfect statistics. The next generation, they're saying liquor companies are starting to have decreased profits because people have stopped drinking alcohol, or they're drinking a lot less.
Yeah, you have to pivot to apple cider during the Prohibition era.
Yeah. And I don't think that obviously it's going to go away. There's always going to be some people that are drinking, but people are paying attention. I think that the access to more knowledge, and it's just a part of our culture now that people are interested in staying healthy longer, and that the decisions that we make as young people make a big difference when we're old. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think the challenge is going to be bringing that to the customer at the right price point. Obviously, you can jump to a wool carpet, but there's a cost associated with manufacturing that wool carpet over a polyester, and it's how do you bring a product to the market in that affordable price range. We've seen a trend towards a little bit a higher end carpet in homes as hard surface has taken over the main floor area. I would say that's the biggest regret buyers have after they move into their home is they did not extend hard surface throughout the main space. It's a lot harder to replace your carpet with a hard surface once you're moved in. Obviously you've got furniture in there, you're living in it. But what that means is when it gets to a lower level or a children's bedroom, they are picking a little bit of a premium carpet because they know that's what their kids are gonna be playing on, and it's a smaller area so they can now spend a little bit extra. So we're seeing that trend in the industry as well.
That makes sense. I think people are willing to spend a lot more money to be healthy. I think that that's going to just continue.
100%. And I think that's a good cause to spend money on.
Yes. Yeah. Will that be okay?
We could pull up another
Hannah?
hot tub and you guys can sit
Yeah.
side by side.
We can sit, if we're going to do it, we'll sit in the same tub.
I love it.
Exactly.
I love that idea even more.
You mentioned health. We're seeing a lot of resilient flooring in the industry.
Define resilient flooring.
So
for those that
resilient
might not
flooring is going to be a vinyl composite product that is manufactured into a plank to give an aesthetic of hardwood.
Okay.
So that product is going to be stable. It shouldn't shrink the way our natural floor, site finished floor will, but it comes with certain maintenance concerns. It is made out of polymers, so it is a petroleum-based product. I think there's a lot of areas where it makes complete sense. We've seen a trend towards more natural finishes. There's manufactured quartz, there's manufactured floors like I just mentioned, and I see consumers more interested in a natural stone slab for their kitchen. They're interested in a real floor, a real hardwood on their floor. That is a trend I'm seeing where buyers are wanting the real thing.
For those of you that don't know, I don't come up with all these questions. Hannah does. She makes me look like I'm really smart. Hannah, are you going to put your face in front of the camera so everyone? I like this next one. I think it will be kind of a hard question to answer. I know that you probably did a little research, but I think it's a good question. So thank you, Hannah. The design industry works best when everyone's collaborating. I know you and I both agree on that. We've talked about it quite a bit. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for builders, designers, showrooms, suppliers, everybody, like if I'm missing a category, sorry, to kind of work together more effectively and help lift the industry up so that we're doing the best job we can?
Yeah, no, and I know you have done a great job at this, and this is definitely a difficult question. Good job, Hannah. I think we've seen this nationally, obviously, equity firms buying up companies, and the focus being a lot more short-term. What's the next quarter's profits? How can we whittle down the team to be more profitable? And the focus has definitely trended towards profitability rather than the long-term relationships that are required, like you just said. And I think the only advice I would give is, especially for companies like yours, which is obviously family-owned, you're not looking for necessarily what can I post as profits the next quarter. You're in this for the long haul. And I think companies that care and they see that vision of a future long-term, those relationships are what's going to drive it. I mean, I've known you for how long? And when I first met you, 10, 15 years ago, I think
More.
I never in the back of my mind thought that, well, this is a relationship that's going to flower into us having this conversation right now. But it did. And I think that is the case with any friendship or business relationship that gets formed. You never know where it's going to lead. That networking, that long-term bond, I think is critical in our industry as things get more and more, like I said, segmented and commoditized. That would be my feedback, is if you work for a company that is still focusing on that long-term rather than the short-term profits. The focus should be building those relationships, even though you may not see that immediate fruit. It's got to be long-term.
I second that. Now that I'm in this side of the industry, as far as I know, I think there's only 3 showrooms that are family or privately owned. Everything else is private equity, so it's a big deal. The only thing I would add to that of what you said that I think you're hinting towards is, I think whenever you're the buyer, because as this progresses, like everyone's a buyer at some point, buy where you feel important. Like where is somebody like paying attention to you and making sure that all your needs are being met and they're treating you as a partner instead of as dollars.
Yeah, and I think
Makes a big
with
difference.
AI, like we mentioned, I think people want to work with people.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our life happens with those social interactions. That's where we find meaning. That's where a company has its soul. You can tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go on a website and you can immediately tell if it was curated by a homeowner, or I'm sorry, by a person versus an AI bot. And I don't know what that is. You know, I keep referring to it as the soul, but you can tell when a human interaction occurred, and people will pay for human interaction. People will go to the store simply so that they can see another person. I mean, this is what we evolved to do, and I think that's going to continue to be the case. You're not getting replaced by a robot,
No,
Corey.
Hannah's trying to replace me all the time.
I know this much about your industry or about your business, Corey, so some of the questions are just selfish questions to indulge my curiosity.
I like it.
We've obviously seen a change in the industry in the last 5 years post-COVID. Not just in the inflation, but just everything has changed, right? We keep talking about going back to normal. I think this is the new normal. But what have you seen change kind of in your core customer, what they value? You know, where are you seeing the trends? Is it more design guidance versus price? Is the trend towards more affordable? Where are you seeing the industry go as far as your finishes and what you offer?
I'm cheating a little bit because I bought DSKB in 2021, so it was like right as kind of COVID was finishing up. We were still wearing masks here every day, but I don't know that I could fully speak on what I saw change because I wasn't here then. But I think it's like a story of two different businesses happening at the same time. We're really lucky that we have some pockets of wealth throughout Colorado. Aspen is the one that everyone knows about, so we'll just say Aspen as one, but there are several where people just want what they want. They want something unique, they want something that they love. Our tagline at DSKB is luxury enjoyed, and the idea of that is that it's something that you're going to use every day. Like a lot of times when you buy something that's considered luxury, it's not something that you actually use or interact with, but your kitchen faucet you use 10 plus times a day. Your shower you use probably ideally at least once a day. Your toilet, you know, no one wants to talk about toilets because they're gross, right? But you use that several times a day. And there are luxury products that make that experience better every single time you use it. So I think people were locked at their house for a little while, that were used to going outside. When I say locked in, obviously we weren't locked in, but we didn't know what was going to happen for a long time. And I mean, at my house, we were receiving Amazon packages and we were wiping them off with disinfectant because the information wasn't there yet to know.
I'm learning a lot about you, Corey.
To know what was going to happen, right? That was what was happening at home. At my job at the time, I was still going out and trying to find disinfectant for employees and different things, and so
Hoarding toilet paper.
Yeah, no toilet paper as much as we ended up hoarding baby wipes and soaking them in Lysol as a crazy thing for work, not at home. So I think once you're forced to interact with your home more, you start realizing that you want it to be comfortable, you want it to be the things that you enjoy, and you want it to be a place where you feel safe and comfortable. And with that, I think that social interactions have changed. I think people are more likely to choose to stay home than to go out. And with that, people are choosing to have the things that they want. We're kind of seeing a dip in Denver where price is becoming sensitive again, and I think that it's really throwing everybody off. But really, to me, that's just coming back to what we had before. Price always matters to everybody, no matter how much wealth you've accumulated. Sometimes the more wealth you have, the more frugal you become. Price does matter, even when you're buying the things that you want, and I think that people are becoming more sensitive to that again, more than they have since COVID happened, at least in here in the showroom. And so we're seeing a lot of people make selections and then reselecting and choosing different items and maybe not getting the exact thing that they wanted, but something a little bit less. And that's where a business like yours and a business like mine is really, really important, because you need that professional that can say, okay, you can't do this anymore, but we've got a like product that can save you some dollars here and still get close to the dream that they always had.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up. I think when that occurred in the supply chain, obviously there were interruptions for all of us to the containers and the factory closures. For Saddleback to be able to offer, 24 different vendor partners and all of these different manufacturers, where this container didn't come in, we can now pivot and we can give you this product, like product. You're not losing on price or quality. If you have only 2 or 3 manufacturers and suddenly 2 of them go offline, it's a lot harder to be able to still provide what the customer wants and needs without pivoting. So I agree with you. I think to second what you're saying, yes, I think the home is going to, we're seeing obviously with social media, all of the influencers, and right now, and what's it called, revenge travel, where people after COVID started focusing more on experiences rather than product. And, you're going to France, you're going to Bali, but I think most of life really happens in between those trips. It happens at your kitchen table, it happens in your home, in your bedroom with your kids, and what you surround yourself with, I think becomes more meaningful when you look at it that way. I bring up the example, the table that was fabricated, it was a green marble. I remember when Natalia and I got married, when we were dating, I would have dinner with her family at that table. When we got married, I remember having dinner at that table. When her parents moved out, that table we took with us because it had deep meaning, because it was with her parents for over a decade. It was actually at my parents' house for, I think, almost a decade. With inflation going the way it's going, I think people are going to spend more time in their home. When you step out on the street and it costs you $100 to do anything nowadays, people are going to spend more and more time in their home. And I think, if you were to ask me what's the most underrated room in your house, I'm going to say it's your rec room, because that is usually the space, the third space in your home where you're going to spend most of your time with your children. And you're going to have a party in the kitchen here or there, but it's really the playroom or the rec room where you're hanging out with your family in the afternoon, or you're hanging out with your kids in the afternoon. I think people view it as, well, it's maybe just a basement, or it's just a room to the side. That's most of life. That's where the kids' toys are. That's where you're going to be living your life most of the time. It's not going to be a trip to Disney World. It's going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I'm gonna mess this all up, but I just read some sort of thing from somebody that I follow that says that parents should have an 18-minute thing with their kids every day where they learn a new skill for 18 minutes each day. And they concentrate on that until they're ready to move on to the next skill. Mm-hmm. And the joke was that your kids are going to be, Jason Bourne by the time they're out of high school, because just 18 minutes adds up to a significant amount of time, and they're going to do that in a space like you're referring to.
And I think that focus, or that trend, is going to continue, because you're seeing, you're seeing the demographic change shift. People are having less kids. So if you're only going to have one child rather than four, I think the quality over quantity is going to become critical. So you're going to invest more time with that one child, and most of that time is going to be in the home. Obviously, you can buy fixtures online, you can buy fixtures at all the big box stores. Mm-hmm. What do you think it is about the SKB that cannot be replicated?
We'll compete against people buying online all the time. I think that the big hurdle or thing that we see a lot is that people will buy something online not quite understanding all the intricacies of what they're buying, and that they then need help. And Amazon's not going to help you, or the place that you chose to buy online isn't going to sit down and figure out what the issue is. They're just going to say, well, you bought it online. Almost everything that we have here has a second part to it. When you buy a shower, there's a valve that goes behind the wall. Who decides what valve you need back there? People are going to talk to you about how all the different functions work and all of that, and you need a showroom for that. If you're going to spend a significant amount of money on a freestanding bathtub in your master bath because you enjoy to bathe, do you want to pick one online, or do you want to go to a showroom where you can sit down and actually get in it and feel how it's going to feel and make sure that it's a good fit for you? But what it really, really comes down to is having an expert in your corner. Someone's going to go through all the information. And when you order a sink, do you have the right strainer, or did you get the garbage disposal that can hook to it? All of those things require an expert. And that's what a showroom brings to the table, and specifically what DSKB brings to the table is somebody that's going to make sure all that's right. Yeah. And when it's not right, who's going to stand there and say, we screwed this up and we're going to fix it? We are. And that's the whole point of interacting, and why people keep coming back is that a designer, a homeowner, whoever we're interacting with, a plumber that installs toilets and stuff, like, they don't just install the toilet. They're worried about all the rough plumbing in the house. They got to run all the pipes and make sure all the slopes are right. They got to make sure all the P-traps are good. They got to make sure all the venting is right so that they can pass inspection. They're not the expert at that toilet or that faucet or that sink. We are. And that is our role in the process. And so Like, they keep coming back here so that they know that they're not going to have time wasted on a job. They're not going to show up and realize they're missing 5 parts and then they got to order more stuff online. All of it's going to be there because we do this over and over and over, and they have a pro to interact with that is going to get it fixed.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I said, similar to Saddleback, right? It's not the product we're selling choice and we're selling designer expertise. There's definitely a need for it in the industry. You can't just buy everything off the shelf.
I went to a conference that was about selling luxury, and there's a lot of different people there. But the one thing that I really took away from it was that people are really, really starting to be driven to buy from people again. That cold experience of buying online, and or not just online, like at a place where you're not recognized. You know, you can go to Target and not interact with anyone, self-checkout, or you know, not picking on Target by any means, but like a grocery store or any place like that, and not get recognized. People aren't wanting to do that anymore. They're wanting to buy from people, and so I think that a lot of things like social media and everything to let people know that we're all people here, we're all screwing up. There's gonna be some highlights here of you and me messing up on you know, how we're talking or how we're answering.
I didn't mess up once.
It's been perfect. Okay. Well, maybe not on this one. And that, I think, is the most important part to share, because people want to know that you're human. They want to know that, you know, that we're people, and they want to buy from us.
That's fair.
This is kind of the last question. If a homeowner walks away from their experience with Saddleback remembering just one thing, what do you want that to be?
No, and it's what we've been talking about. It's really that relationship with the designer. Our team does such a good job of forming that relationship with the buyer, because there has to be a high level of trust for you to rely on what they tell you, on what you're putting in your home, and that's their focus. It's that meaningful impact of, this person's giving me expertise, and I know I can trust them in making me going with the decisions they're or the choices they're offering me instead of going elsewhere. I think that trust is what has people coming back. I mean, we've had buyers who come back and they want to finish their basement, they want to upgrade, and they, you know, maybe have that buyer's remorse they didn't upgrade their flooring. They will always ask for the designer by their first name basis, because that's the relationship that matters.
Yeah, agreed.
Where we can find him, his website.
Yeah,
Yes.
can you?
Go saddleback.com. We're right off Mississippi and Santa Fe. Big brown building, showroom. That's where you go find it. It's our fabrication facility. If you need window coverings, we are a Hunter Douglas distributor as well.
Nice work.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, thanks for
having
coming
me.
in and doing it.
Yeah.